Alright family, one of my favorite Black history subjects will always be the Tuskegee Airmen. However, did y'all know they actually weren't the first African American combat fighter pilots? It's February 6th, time for more Black excellence during Black History Month. Alright, for those of you who didn't know, including myself, the first African American fighter pilot is actually Mr. Eugene Jaques Bullard. If you don't know, you're about to know. Bullard was actually born on October 9th, 1895 in Columbus, Georgia, and he was one of 10 siblings. However, at the age of 11, Bullard would actually run away from his home and work as a jockey throughout the entire South. He ended up in Norfolk, Virginia in 1912 and would actually stow away aboard a German ship that was heading to Aberdeen, Scotland. But he actually ended up in Liverpool and would join a minstrel group called Freedmen's Pickaninnies. From there, he would travel all over Europe and even into Russia with this group, but would eventually settle down in Paris, France. In 1914, amidst the start of World War I, at the age of 19, Bullard would actually enlist in the French Foreign Legion, and his first assignment would actually be with the Moroccan division of the 3rd Marching Regiment, where he would serve as a machine gunner. He would hold that job down up until 1 year later when he'd be transferred to the 170th Infantry, and there he would actually earn the nickname the Black Swallow of Death. He would face many combat zones, and he wasn't immune from it either, as he would get a crippling thigh wound on March 5th, 1916, but would be awarded the Croix de Guerre and Médaille Militaire for his military service. He would actually be transferred to aviation gunnery, and then a year later on May 5th, 1917, he would earn his pilot's license and be given the distinction as the first Black fighter pilot in history. He would be assigned to Squadron 93 of the Lafayette Flying Corps, which is a group of U.S. volunteers who had agreed to fly for the French. And he would remain here until the U.S. actually entered World War I. Then he would be switched quickly back to the 170th Infantry Unit because the U.S. did not allow Black pilots at the time. He would be badly wounded for the second time in combat. However, he was able to escape to Spain, and from there he was actually evacuated to New York to recover. Later down the line in 1954, the French government asked him to come back to France and help relight the eternal flame of the tomb of the unknown French soldier at the Arc de Triomphe in Paris. In 1959, the French would also honor him again, naming him a Cavalier in the Legion of Honor. And unfortunately, 2 years after that, Bullard would pass away in the year 1961 and is buried today in the French War Veterans section at the Flushington Cemetery in Queens, New York. Upon his passing, he had received a total of 15 medals from the French government for his military service. However, that's not all he received. In 1992, he had his bust installed in the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum, and then the U.S. Air Force posthumously commissioned him to the rank of 2nd Lieutenant. And for today's quote, I'll leave y'all with this one. I'm grateful for all the breaks and honors and opportunities I've had, but I always believe I won't have made it until the humblest Black kid in the most remote backwoods of America has made it. Mr. Jackie Robinson.